event venue, Mercedes-Benz Stadium. We're proud to announce that this venue will be the host venue of the Cricket Celebration Bowl for the next 6 years. We want to thank our partners here at Atlanta Falcons Stadium Company, owner Arthur Blank and CEO Stephen Cannon, and the great team that we get to work with each and every year. Today, it is time to celebrate. The bowl game is back. After a hiatus in 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemics, we're proud to host the MEAC champion South Carolina State Bulldogs, led by Coach Oliver Hbcu, along with the SWAC champion Jackson State University Tigers, which is coached by Coach Deion Sanders, but today represented by Coach Gary Harrell. Each of these teams received their first invitation as their conference champions to compete in this year's game. Both teams arrived with undefeated records in conference play. Both head coaches were awarded Coach of the Year honors by their respective conference. Both teams have storied histories, and both universities represent the finest in academic excellence. It's time to celebrate. What can we expect from this year's bowl week? Not more of the same for sure. We're proud that Delta Airlines will provide charter flights to ferry the teams in and out of Atlanta. They will be welcome to Atlanta on Wednesday with a taste of the Celebration Bowl presented by the Coca-Cola Company at the World of Coke. They will hear about careers in football presented by the NFL, receive financial literacy training from Truist Bank, tour the College Football Hall of Fame, participate in the Champions Circle Showcase presented by Disney on the Yard, get their swag on at the Luster VIP Grooming Lounge, then get ready to showcase their talent here as they compete for the most coveted trophy in HBCU football and the title of national champion at the Cricket Celebration Bowl game. On Friday of Bowl week, we will honor the transition.
Thank you.
Of Dr. Dennis Thomas, who served as commissioner of the MEAC conference for 20 years. Dennis, thank you for all you have done to impact HBCU athletics and student athletes. You're honored, we honor you. And we welcome Commissioner-elect Sonia Steels. We look forward to your leadership and working with you and your institution leaders. Thank you. The SWAC will host its Hall of Fame induction ceremony. The conference is led by Dr. Charles McCullough, whose vision has been transformative. Thank you, Commissioner, for your leadership. Saturday morning, you're in for a treat. The Marching 101 and the Sonic Boom of the South will face off in the first Cricket Celebration Bowl Band Jamboree at the Coca-Cola Fan Experience. Music, food, activations, and the debut of Walt Disney Company's Drum Major Mickey. All capped off with a performance by Big Boy from the Atlanta-based hip hop group Outkast. So it's time to celebrate because a champion will rise. And I'd like to ask Dr. McClellan and Dr. Thomas if you come up for a photo op. Thank you. Yeah. Yes, sir. Can we get all of these? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Folks stand in, please make sure that the people in the back can get the.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now, I'd like to welcome to the podium Sam Crenshaw, my friend, and a legend in sports. Sam has been in Atlanta media covering sports for years and is currently with 92.9 The Game. He is a reporter for ATL 26, City Channel 26, and is a broadcaster for Georgia State Athletics. As a member of the Georgia Public Broadcasting Sports Crew, Sam serves as an analyst in sports programs and serves multiple roles for high school football and basketball state finals. Join me in welcoming Mr. Sam Crenshaw.
Thank you so much, John Grant. It is great to be back here. Welcome back. Welcome back. We didn't get to do this last year. It is so wonderful to stand here and look out and see each and every one of you and know what we're about to experience with some new faces. Excited to see some new teams that are coming to play, and these coaches, when we say they're smiling right now, they won't be smiling so brightly next Saturday, but right now they're smiling. We're gonna have a good time and talk with them a little bit, let you talk with them. Media, you coming today. We also have some media joining us via virtual experience. And let me go over some things, put my good eyes on, let y'all know what we're doing here. First of all, cell phones. We're gonna silence your cell phones during this time. For the virtual media, please make sure your devices are muted until you're selected. There is a way that you can raise your hands. We've been working with this for over a year. All of us know how this goes now. So once the Q&A begins, use the raise your hand button to ask questions. And the virtual moderator will unmute your device. You'll be selected to ask your question along with those who are assembled here at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I want to remind everyone a couple of other things. When you are called on, be sure to state your name and affiliation prior to asking your questions for our coaches that are here. Make sure Michelle knows all the rules. Make sure we got all the rules
Amen.
before we get started. My goodness, what a year it has been for historically Black colleges, maybe a year and a half. And the visibility of where it has gone, the people who have had a chance to witness it, the people who've had a chance to come out and touch it. We couldn't touch it back last year. We couldn't touch it like we wanted to back in the spring. It was fine to watch, in spring. But this fall, we've been able to touch it again and feel it again and fellowship with each other again and see some quality football, some incredible quality performances that have taken on HBCU, especially in the Eastern Athletic Conference and in the Southwestern Athletic Conference. And acknowledging both commissioners and Commissioner-elect. So wonderful to see you here today. My goodness, we're going to start, of course, with the Dean coaches in the Eastern Athletic Conference. About Oliver Hbcu, 19 years, is that right? 19 years?
Somewhere in there.
Somewhere in there, he said. I know it's been a labor of love as a graduate of that Orangeburg campus, and you've been able to serve in your capacity for a number of years and serve admirably. And now you get a chance to bring your team back to Atlanta. So welcome back to Atlanta. You've been here before in South Carolina State. We want to welcome back everyone. Coach Oliver Hbcu, head football coach, South Carolina State University.
Thank you, Sam. Good evening, everybody. How are y'all? Good, y'all. It's been a long time coming. I've been trying to get to this thing for about 10 years now. Actually, the Celebration Bowl's idea is actually the baby of our commissioner, Coach Dennis Thomas. And I can tell you that I fought for a good many years to keep this thing from happening. And then by the time I figured out that this was something that we really ought to really buy into, that I think I've been punished for not being able to be on board at the very beginning, by not being able to come for all those years. So Sam, I hadn't been here before. Now, we played lots of games in Atlanta here, and we played over the old Georgia Dome. But this is the first time I've set foot into the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And I can tell you that I'm awfully excited to be. It's been a long year. It's been a long time. we've been going through all kinds of pandemics and what have you. This is our 16th ball game in this calendar year. If you can imagine that. We went through the spring where we played 4 games. We started off with Alabama A&M, then we came back in the fall and came back and played Alabama A&M again. I don't know exactly, who we played and when and where and all that kind of stuff, but it's been a long, long, long year. But we were able to get through it all and eventually get to the point where we were into our conferences race, and then we were able to actually get into our conference and win our league. So I can tell you that it was really an exciting year for us. The South Carolina State entire fan base, is energized and excited as I've ever seen them. And, we look forward to, seeing if we can pack this place. I'm hearing that we've got over the 40-some-odd thousand range sold tickets already. And, I'm excited by the fact that we could be involved in a game that's got that kind of excitement and that kind of stuff. Jackson State, Coach Harold, Coach Sanders, I wish you were here. Congratulations, guys. You've done a marvelous job of getting everybody excited about HBCU football this season. And, we like to be a part of that deal in a way where, we get a little bit of that luster off of you guys too. So, this whole thing comes together in a way that I think can really, be something special for years to come. So I'm looking forward to it. And, we've got with me today here from the South Carolina State side, I got my boss, Coach Stacy down back there. Stacy, stand up so they can see you. And the rest of our staff, guys, y'all stand up and get these guys, all these guys who work their butts off to make our year happen. It's been a wonderful year for us at South Carolina State, and I can tell you that we are ready to come in here and get after these guys. Okay, how about that deal? But now at the same time, you got to bring something to get some. So at the same time, I got to put our fan in the doggone rig too, to see if we can keep it and bring it back home with us. So we're excited about the whole deal and looking forward to it also. I'm gonna sit down before I incite you guys to want to get after us any more than I have already. And at that point, then guys, y'all can ask some questions. Thank you very much. And Sam, is that it? Is that enough? Sit down. Thanks so much.
Coach, I see you knew to ask. All right, we're going to ask Michelle. She's going to keep us in line and keep us rolling. Of course, the opposition coming from the Southwestern Athletic Conference and a program that has gained so much notoriety and it's made everybody look. It's made some people consider possibilities. It has made recruits consider the possibility. To me, that is the thing that excites me more than anything. Yes, you can get there from here. Who said it? Where's it written? You can get there from here. They're going to show it and they're going to prove it. It's been done before, will be done again, especially in the leadership of Coach Prime, who was not able to be with us in his absence. Miss him. My goodness, he didn't play in this building, but he is honored in this building and honored in the minds and memories of a lot of people who from the Metro Atlanta area remember his playing days. And walking into the Georgia Dome and proclaiming it as being his house. I'm curious to see if he says that next week. And I'm not the only person who think he might say that next week. We're going to see that. But first of all, we're going to call on Coach Gary Harrell, who has MEAC roots. Howard Bison. Yeah.
That's right.
He does. Notice the commission is acknowledging that. We're going to call her, Coach Harrell, come over and tell us a little thing about this season, the magical season there at Jackson State. Coach Gary Harrell.
Thank you. Thank you. First and foremost, I want to give thanks to the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for giving the opportunity before you as we move forward. I want to thank the Cricket Celebration Bowl official, John Grant, for all that you do, the city of Atlanta, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, also the Atlanta Falcons, and all those who helped this wonderful event. Also, I want to give thanks and acknowledgement to our leader, Director of Athletics, Ashley Robinson, along with Dr. Thomas Hudson and the athletic department leadership for providing so much support to our students, athletes, and all that you do for us as we move forward. And also want to get acknowledgement to our Director of Football Operations, Latoya, and Dennis, our SID. But also want to give thanks to our football students, our student athletes, our football team, our players, our coaches, because we came in here knowing what we had to do. We came with the belief, I believe, that Coach Prime put forth, and we put one foot forward, and we just move in that direction. But it took a lot of hard work. It took a lot of belief, and that's where we are today. We believe that we are destined to be champions. We believe that we are destined to create young men to prepare themselves to greatness, and we're going to stay on that path with the leadership of Coach Prime. And speaking of Coach Prime, he would love to be here due to a prior engagement. He could not be here, but he's looking forward to be here, because this is home away from home, to face a tough competitor in South Carolina State. Don't let this guy fool you. I'm not going to fall for the trap. I've known him for a long time. You're talking about Buddy Pugh. You're talking about University of South Carolina State 18 championships. You're talking about since his arrival, he created a resurgence on that campus with 8 football championships. So I know a lot about Coach Buddy Pugh. I know how he's going to have his football team. We're prepared. They're a tough team. And it's going to be a great matchup as we move forward. But our team, we got a great team as well, led by Shador Sanders. We got newcomer of the year. He does great things, a freshman quarterback, and has tremendous stats. He's a great leader. Football IQ is just on top of the chart. He got guys outside from Wyman, is a great receiver, Keith Corbin, and along with other guys that play their roles. In the backfield, we got Pickett. Pickett does a great job as far as carrying the load. He's an every down back. And we have Santee Marshall, a good change-up guys, and also JD Martin. So we have a good core of running backs who do it by committee, and up front, offensive line do a great job as far as playing as one unit. And on defense, this is our best unit, no doubt about it. We got James Houston outside. We got Niles Gaddy. We got Aubrey Miller. We got Keontae Hampton. And those guys create havoc when it comes to rushing the quarterback. And Dennis Thurman is the guy that leads that charge. And outside, we got a great core guys. They call themselves the headache crew with Shallow Sanders leading that group. We got CJ Holmes. We got a collective guy, Cam Sim, a guy who's very, very unrated, but really need to be acknowledged for as a freshman on defense, number 12. He's the guy that gets us lined up. He's very, very in tune with what's going on. He plays the game very courageous, and we just want to make sure we acknowledge him in that secondary as well. So now we continue to move on. We understand this is a very, very important event. I remember being in the MEAC, and like Coach Buddy Pugh said, we fought like we didn't have all the information. I don't want to say the correct word, but he tried to convince us this is the right thing. And we say, God darn, we want to play us. And God darn it, he said, no, this is the right thing. It's the right direction. So I want to make sure I give thanks to Commissioner Thomas. Thank you. Thank you, Commissioner Kelly, for all of you guys believing and seeing the vision to put us where we are. Because this is a voice. When you look at a celebration, the Cricket Celebration Board, this is a voice that speaks volume. And that's what Jackson State right now is all about, is that voice as we continue, not only in the Jackson State community on campus, across the country, but all HBCUs. And we talk about voice, we're talking about having that vision. Saying things, saying the unpredictable to do the unthinkable. And that's what we had to come in and see where we wanted to be and see how to get there. But with support with our leadership, Ashley Robinson, we're on that path. But we had to first have a vision and then order. We had to make sure we give instructions, direction to how to get there. And Coach Pride came with a complete understanding of what we're going to do as far as following those footsteps. And then integrity. We had to make sure that we was very, very understanding as far as our core values, being smart, fast, tough, and disciplined. So having a vision, having an order, and integrity, and also communication. Communication with one another, communication with social media, and teaching our players how to communicate on social media is a big part of how we continue to move from day to day. With the social media that goes on with all the student athletes, with everything we have on our campus is very transparent. We document everything. Communication is critical, and it goes into marketing. But it also it goes to that last letter, empowerment. It gives us opportunity to really empower ourselves to really, really show the country what HBCU really have to offer. And that's what we want to continue to do as far as have a vision, give order, have integrity as we move forward, be very, very good as far as communicating, and also give the empowerment across the country. But this being said, we want to also make sure that we all continue to get the athletes, the student athletes, the best opportunities to see their life. There's two teams playing, all right, from two different entities. We understand that. We all trying to get the same goal. But we must understand that we're all fighting for the same goal as well. We want to continue to bring and raise the importance of education. That's one that both universities want to continue to establish. Compete with a sense of pride and purpose, all right, and exemplify students winning on and off the football field. If we do those three things alone, I think we give our student athletes an opportunity to succeed and have the best experience of their life. And that's what we're all about as far as giving that experience with the partnership of this cricket celebration bowl. This is a wonderful, wonderful experience for our kids. I told myself when I was head coach at Howard, I would never attend this event until I'm playing this event. I couldn't resist. I couldn't get there, so I came like for 2 years. And how it's exemplified on TV, how it's marketed. I mean, it is A1, top of the notch to how things go about it. And I'm so proud of where we are as an HBCU as we continue to move in that path. So let's continue to raise our voice. All right, let's continue to raise our voice. Let's continue to empower our student athletes to greatness. And Jackson State, Dion Love, we look forward to next week. We look forward to next week. And as the son of Boom always say and play, get ready, because here we come. Thank you.
Oh my, there's a lot going on and there's a whole lot to digest from what both coaches have laid out for us. We're going to open it up to the media in just a moment. We had a reason to celebrate here in Atlanta a few weeks ago. We actually won a championship. Braves won World Series, had parades, had 2-3 parades. And we don't get to do that here in this town very often, but we're going to finish up this year with a whole different celebration, the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And I'm not the oldest person in the room, I think, but I can say this, I'm old enough to remember and to have witnessed HBCU greatness. A lot of people read about it. A lot of folks talk about it. A lot of folks haven't really seen HBCU greatness. That's what excites me about this time. HBCU greatness is something that we're going to see at the Cricket Celebration Bowl. And following up in years to come, what's being lit under our young people and under our country. Get ready to see HBCU greatness again. I'm gonna open up both. I'm going to open it up for media, but can I ask the first question for both of these coaches? As we talk about HBCU greatness, and I'm going to pose to both of you, talk about how this game fits into displaying the possibility of HBCU greatness, because I believe we have one of the greatest platforms to display it. Coach Pugh.
Go ahead, go first, Coach.
I would say, when you look at all the athletes that came through, the Darius Leonard that came through this program, the 12 fail, a lot of guys really didn't have this platform to showcase their talent. And that's what Coach Prime is trying to bring back, as we continue to speak on, just give our athletes an opportunity to showcase themselves across the country. And that's why it's so important to be on the major networks so the country can see it. So the awareness is there. Everyone is watching to see what Jackson State, South Carolina State is doing right now. So we're winning. We're heading in the right direction. But anytime you get a platform where you can show what you can do in any form of life, in any industry, it definitely gives you an opportunity. So now, hopefully, we can get our kids into the combine, where they're in front of the decision makers, that they actually can pull the triggers and give our kids a legitimate shot as far as having success in what they do and what they love to do. So this is always a plus for us, and we will always support this event, and we will make sure we always bring our best game.
The build up of being in a game such as this and having an opportunity to be on the ESPN 1 and 2, actually, because in most cases it's plus and gold and all those other kinds of things. Yes, it will really be a big opportunity for us to be seen around the country in a way that we wouldn't ordinarily have an opportunity to be seen. I think the game itself is a tremendous opportunity on the day of the game itself, but the publicity that builds up around the game, the fact that we've got a hot ticket to sell is, I'm hearing from people that I hadn't heard from in years that I coached at other places, wanting to know how I get tickets to that game. I went on the site and I couldn't get tickets, that kind of stuff. So, the notoriety that we are coming, that we are building from, the hot ticket and just the general build up in the way that we've got, so much excitement going, I think is really something that we can actually capitalize on, that will give us an opportunity to develop and do all kinds of things, everything from increased enrollment at our universities to, generally just build some good positive vibes about ourselves.
Fantastic, fantastic. This game, by the way, has been linked to enrollment increases at the schools that have participated in the past. People tune in on Saturday, the 18th, 12 noon Eastern on ABC. They'll get a chance to see that. Also, I'm going to plug for 92.9 The Game. Found out today that we will be airing the game locally on Sports Radio 92.9 The Game, strongest signal for sports talk or sports broadcast in this state. Will be carrying the Cricket Celebration Bowl this year. All right, we want to open it up to media. Michelle, we're going to start first in time. We want people to raise your hand, state who you are affiliated with, and get your question. Which one are you taking first?
Right here.
As you heard, excellent sports and entertainment. This question is for Coach Q. We're celebrating greatness. I want you to talk about the defensive player of the year, Kobe Bryant.
The Kobe Durant is a defensive back that when you think of defensive backs, you think of skilled guys who can run and jump and knock balls down, that kind of stuff. Well, the Kobe is kind of the mentality of a defensive tackle. He's a tough guy, who can, get in the middle of all of the different kinds of screens and perimeter throws that they have in the game, that you see in the game today, with the game being so spread out, and make plays out there in a way that he can minimize damage in a way that you don't get big plays against him. So, we didn't see a lot of attempts against him this past year because people kind of sort of got the message, that this might not be the guy that you go over there tackling, messing with. I think he had 2 or 3 interceptions against one team early in our spring season this past spring. So, he's a guy who can make all the different kinds of plays, and he's also a tremendous student athlete. He's in graduate school now in his second semester of grad work and can finish his master's this spring, although he will probably be out going to the combine and those kinds of things this spring. But at the same time, he's a tremendous athlete who can also be, a tremendous active guy as far as toughness is concerned.
Tyler, go ahead.
Hey, this is Tyler Carr with HBCU Game Day. My question is for Coach Pugh. You guys had a little more time to prepare. You kind of had that period where, 50-50, we'll say, did you do Jackson State's possibility. Could you tell us how you prefer? Like, do you like that amount of time to prepare, or would you, can you get too much rest in a period like this?
I don't know if you can get too much rest. We took a couple of days off. We had a long season. This is our 15th game, I said earlier, this year. So it's been a lot of ball play, in Orangeburg. So, we were looking for an opportunity to kind of settle in a little bit and give our guys a little bit of a break away from the game. So we took a week off. And then from there, we went back after it. And even at that point, we only going about 3 days a week. This week, we're going 4 days. But, it's a situation where, you got to find your happy medium. This is the first time we've done it, so I don't know for sure, if we're doing it exactly right. We're trying to figure some things out as we go. But I can tell you that we've tried to do our very best of making sure that we got enough work in to make sure that we were prepared, but not too much work in that we start to wear our guys down with this long season that we've had.
The next question will come virtually from Jeff Hartzell. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hey, Coach Pugh, it's Jeff Hartzell from the Post and Courier in Charleston. I'm wondering if you've ever met Coach Prime before, and what do you think about matching wits with him in the bowl game?
I've not met him, but I've watched him from afar for many years. I can remember being on the sidelines at a Florida State Clemson game years ago as a high school coach. Seeing these guys run around, and he's out there having fun and running and jumping. And I've been to a Braves game or 2 in my lifetime. I'm a tremendous Braves fan. So, my guys tell me at work, say, you can tell whether or not the Braves won or not by Coach's move today. So, he's a guy that I've admired from afar from a long time, and, both as a football and a baseball guy.
Coach Harold, Manuel Blaze from Next Level Sports and Entertainment. What was the difference besides the athletes that y'all got in from the spring that y'all played to what y'all did this year? Where it looks like it was a different attitude. What was the difference as a team that y'all put in place from the spring to this fall?
Emmanuel, great question. I think from the spring, we was trying to get in and get established of the type of athletes that we had in the program. So we're trying to match up scheme and personnel with those guys. We had success early. Then we kind of fell off towards the end of the losing streak. But we want to make sure that we get the right fit. And when you go through a COVID year pandemic, and Coach Pruitt probably can attest to it, you don't really get a chance to sit down and meet the individual. You don't get a chance to look them in the eyes and make sure that he's the right fit for your program. So a lot of guys that we did bring in, probably not a good fit for what we're trying to get done. We're talking about smart, fast, tough, and discipline. But you have them on your campus. You just try to get through the season with the guys that you have. And so the guys we're recognizing, because Prime always says it's like a 60-40. Guys, 60% guys is bought in. There's another 40% that's not bought in. We always try to increase that number. So that 40-30%, we try to make sure that we somehow, because the NCAA, make no doubt about it, you have to be able to recruit and retain. So once you own those students, you want to get them through and make sure that you're playing for getting a degree. But we still got to find the right mix of student athletes going to do the right thing, being on time. We're very, very strict when it comes to anything, having on the same exact socks. If we don't have on black socks, you go in the locker room. Everyone has to look the same. So we try to stick to our plan, and we just continue trying to get the right mix of young men that's going to buy into what Coach Prime is trying to preach. And as you can see, we're having some success because every week there's some adversity. We're playing some good teams. There's some great teams in the SWAC, but it's a team that's going to be the most disciplined for 4 quarters. And we have to play our best game, and we're looking forward to that as well.
Travis McGee here, Sports Talk Atlanta. Never had so much sports media network. I want to ask both coaches. I used to play football here at Morehouse College, and I know how it is to showcase this talent during this football game. Talk to me about the excitement that you all have with this talent being showcased. I'm going to start with this game, with this bowl game. I'm sure we're going to have Black College Football Hall of Famers in it. It's going to have College Football Hall of Famers in it. It's going to have players go to the next level. Talk to us about how this game will showcase that, and it will help you recruit.
I would say, I'm an HBCU guy. So, coming from Howard, Morehouse was definitely a game that we showcased to generate excitement on campus and across the country. Hamilton was another university. So you try to find those marquee matchups. But I think this was something different. This one is a little bit more special because of the magnitude and expectation that everyone is waiting to see. Everyone is waiting to see what's going to happen. That's the unknown factor that's drawing everyone to this game. And I think we're doing a good job, both university and those involved as far as the marketing, creating that energy, creating that passion for folks to come out. You can tell by the ticket sales. But yes, it's going to be individual in this game that's going to play on Sundays. It's going to be some guys get drafted. So you want to make sure that this is a stepping stone in the right direction that we continue to build on, and next year continue to get more talent when it comes to recruiting, because it's going to be watched across the country. This is a very important game for what we're trying to get accomplished as far as continuing to draw the right type of student athletes to this level of football.
And you coach people.
We just came back from Las Vegas where we recognized Jacoby Durant as one of our top players in our league. He was selected as Defensive Player of the Year. And we've had a tradition at South Carolina State of having that particular position be ours. I think we've gotten maybe 5 out of the last 6 or something of that nature. So we continue, and so we sitting there with the Norfolk State coach talking about, who's the next guy. And they said, I got the next guy. We say, well, we think we've got the next guy. And games like this will give some of those guys that we don't necessarily hear their names on a regular basis an opportunity to be seen and to be recognized, in a very large way. So we've got lots of guys on this football team. We've got lots of people involved in our program in general that would be somehow or another recognized or emphasized in a way that I think could be, really beneficial from a situation such as this.
Keisha J. Kelly, Black College Experience, and this is for both coaches. You both say you fought against this actual celebration ball. And now that you're here, how are the players feeling in locker room? How are the guys feeling now that they're gonna all be coming to Atlanta?
I would say our players feel very excited about the opportunity, and when we fought about it, it's just a competitive spirit in the coaches. We always wanted to see how far we can go to match up against other universities, other football teams. But for us, Jackson State, we have a lot of guys that really come from different levels. that's still learning the HBCU culture. So they don't really know about this. You know, we travel to Southern. When we have our homecoming with 50,000, you know, when we come back and play in the SWAC championship, I mean, you can see the bright eyes from the guys that now are part of Jackson State and really, really trying to understand the HBCU culture. So for our guys, it's a game that they understand the magnitude, but I don't think it really hit them to understand what they're about to be facing until they actually get here in Atlanta and go through all the necessary things to prepare themselves for the game. And you know, this bigger than the game. It's all about all the experience, everything that we had to set up around the game, things that we have involved with the community. The game is the game, but once we get here and get a chance to get the guys to understand the city of Atlanta and all the events that's around the game, that's the most important part.
Next question will come from virtually James Hill.
Good morning, Coach Pugh, and good morning, Coach Harrell. It's James Hill with BNC Sports. When we look at the renewed conversation of quality human beings and NFL Hall of Famers and coaches and everybody coming back home, so to speak, and coaches who have never left the HBCU experience, can you just talk about being a part of that legacy, why this game is so important, and it's a beautiful thing for the youth going forward?
Well, I can tell you that having been at South Carolina State now for like 20 years, I think I've been there a little bit over 20 years now. And this is actually my second stint there because I spent another 7 years there as an assistant. So I've either been a high school coach or a coach at South Carolina State. Now I did spend about 5 years at the SEC. So I guess those guys play a little bit of football there too. But at the same time, I can tell you that I've had a tremendous experience being in this league for the amount of time that I've been in this league. And I can honestly say that we've had about as much excitement around our program this year. We've had about as much excitement around our overall process here this way that we'll, I think, continue to be, you know, a really strong program for years and years to come. I don't know if I answered your question or not, but I'll try to go in that direction somewhere.
I would say, you know, being from Howard, and I coach at many HBCUs. I did step away, coach at FAU with Lane Kiffin. When I came back at HBCU, I felt like it was something missing. You know, I enjoy this level of football because what's around it as far as the culture and tradition. And being in SWAC for a couple of years, I think Michigan guys do a great job. Each week when you travel to the different events, you get the same, it's consistent. You know, you get the same feel, you get the same treatment, you know, you get the same pride. Each week, if it's Mississippi Valley, if it's Southern, it's all cool. It don't matter in the SWAC. Each week, the fan base is so important to the conference, and it shows. The attendance, the players, they appreciate the fans coming out and giving their all, and that's what pushes us through week in and week out.
I want to inject a question if I could, Coach. I already talked about coming back to the SWAC and agency. You came back for a number of reasons, to share the vision of Coach Prime. You expected to play certain roles, but right as the season started, you ended up having to play a different role. How different was that for you to drop into the role of acting head coach for this team?
You know, when I first came to Jackson State from Alabama State, I had a conversation with Coach Prime, and I really didn't know him. You know, we had a conversation. He told me what was about to come. We kind of built the loyalty and the trust through those conversations. And that's the type of man that he is. Once you get his trust, he dives into you. And he told me once he got the job, he wants me to come up as number 2 guy, assistant head coach. And I couldn't pass up that opportunity because the person that I was talking to and speaking with really didn't know. But when working with him, I learned so much from a guy that never been a head coach before. It kind of made me reinvent myself. Even though I've been a head coach before, but the way he go about it as far as day-to-day operation, as far as management, the guy's up about 5 in the morning, probably in bed by 8, but when he's up, he's up. You know, he's doing his podcast, he's coaching his football team. He's always trying to bring revenues and awareness to the campus. But when that situation happened, you know, it's just an honor for me because he could have chose anyone. And I just always try to stay ready for those opportunities. And luckily, I was blessed to be in that position, but have the support around me from Ashley Robinson, his staff, my coaching staff, and the players. You know, they supported me. It's not all about me. I was just a guy given the steering wheel, and I just had to keep it in the middle of the road. He laid the blueprint, he laid the foundation. And as long as I didn't screw it up, you know, I was fun, you know, so I didn't want to make sure I stayed in conversation and always carry out his plan, his vision. But I had fun with it because you want to always be in that role and once, you know, to be back in that role. It was fun, you know, but I had a support of Coach Prime, I had a support of people around me, along with Latoya for day-to-day operation. But, you know, it could be scary because, you know, you're talking about falling behind one of the greatest player of all time, Coach Prime. And I just didn't want to screw it up. Guys.
Next question is virtually from Kendrick Marshall.
I'm Kendrick Marshall, Hbcu Sports. This question is for Coach Pugh. Coach, in your open. Sorry about that, I got muted. Yeah, this is for Coach Pugh. In your opening statement, you mentioned how you wanted to not support the Celebration Bowl when the idea first came to fruition. How did your stance kind of change over the years for you to kind of like warm up to the idea of this game happening and being beneficial to both the MEAC and the SWAC?
Well, it was obvious, I think, from the very beginning that this was something that should have been. And we had a chance to see, I think, maybe A&T play Alcorn a time or two, and the excitement that was being derived from that particular player, you know, was something to behold. I had Coach Broadway and his wife over at our house a couple of times. And, you know, they've got everybody in my household juiced up about what's going, you know, how great an atmosphere and all the different kinds of things that are going on, you know, at the different affairs that they enjoy having, you know, taking a part in. So it's been, you know, a pretty obvious affair at this point that you know for sure that this is something that's going to be, you know, bigger and better, you know, as we continue to build. So it's building at a rate right now where it's moving at warp speed, I think, at a rate, you know, at a place where, you know, we'll have maybe, you know, this place fully sold out in another couple opportunities this way.
Good morning, Don Stinson, DNA Sports Talk. Coach Pugh, you've been a staple at South Carolina State. We see so many coaches leave and go. What has kept you at the school?
Nobody else wants me. How about that deal? So I think the thing that's really kept me there more than anything else is I'm home. You know, I love the place. I'm a South Carolina State alumnus. You know, it's grown in me in a way where, you know, I just enjoy going every day. You don't ever have to worry about, you know, trying to figure out, you know, where Coach Pugh is. You can pretty much find him in his office or somewhere there close by the building because I just get so excited every day by going to work. So, you know, I've been away now, and I'm sure the people that's with me are getting to be miserable because they've been with me for about 3 or 4 days now, and I've been away from my guys. And I can tell you that I hadn't missed a practice in a lot of years. So, you know, it's a situation where, you know, I'm hooked, and you know, I'd like to continue to do this for as long as I can.
Question from virtual, Gene.
Hey, buddy, this is Gene Sapikoff from the Charleston Post and Courier. Congratulations to you and the Bulldogs. What do you think about the future state of HBCU football? Do you see some more schools leaving all HBCU conferences like A&T and Hampton have, or, you know, do you think HBCU conferences are going to just get stronger with coaches like Deion Sanders and Eddie George and all the great publicity that has brought this year?
Well, I think there's room for all the different schools of thought. You know, you've got some schools that want to go more mainstream, and some of us who enjoy staying, you know, in our traditional HBCU leagues that way. So, you know, I think you'll have a sprinkle of both. I don't necessarily have an exact plan for what will be best for, say, for instance, the MEAC, because you know, our numbers are down as far as football playing schools are concerned. But I can tell you that we seem to like doing, you know, what we're doing, and I think we'll continue to go that way.
Good morning. My name is Kanika Tavares with Next Level Sports and Entertainment. Being the only minority-owned sports network, we passionately support HBCUs. With the atmosphere and the awakening of 2020, George Floyd, and the civil rights movement, do you believe that has empowered your teams? And have you had a sit-down discussion with your teams to talk about the cultural importance of HBCUs? And this question is for both coaches.
Well, spoke to the team about that situation. It was pretty much getting the team intact when that situation occurred. A lot of things we spoke on as far as make sure they understand how to conduct themselves in certain situations, and just try to use the situation to, once again, to empower themselves to make a change. It was an unfortunate situation. It definitely impact not only our student athletes, but a lot of folks across the country. And just try to make sure you understand as far as how to go about maneuver in those situations. And you know, it's tough. You know, it's a tough situation. We understand that, but we just always try to educate our guys on not only the George Floyd situation, but just how to handle authority. You might be driving down the street, get pulled over by a police officer, and just be somewhat compliant to make sure that you get home safely. And that's one thing Coach Brian preach on. Anytime we get a break, Christmas break, any type of break, just make sure you don't do anything detrimental that can harm yourself. And we always want to make sure we get our kids back safely.
We have a Bulldog experience session every so often to have an opportunity to talk about whatever is current, you know, in affairs at that point. Our plan is always to involve our young men with people who, you know, have had different varied experiences and have had opportunities to do certain things. Most of our guys that we bring in have some kind of connection. We have doctors and lawyers and preachers and teachers and all kinds of folk who are in the immediate area, sometimes who come through from various places that we allow to stand before our team and have certain conversations about current event topics and sorts, you know, whatever they may be. It is a thought that you'd be, you know, more inclined to gravitate toward our HBCUs when there are, you know, Black issues there are issues in general, you know, that seem to have some kind of affinity to the Black population, you know, that way. You know, we try to do our very best of making our guys aware and give them an opportunity to be able to, you know, have discussions about what might be and what ought to be. And, you know, in those particular cases, we try our best to try to, you know, drive our guys as best we can toward being able to be successful, you know, in this life of hardship and issues that we have in our general population today.
What a time for this game. In the midst of having a movement that your young men had a chance to witness first, and what they're doing, and those who are making the choice to follow in their footsteps and play their college football and also participating in that movement. I want to thank everyone in attendance for your participation in our Q&A session with our coaches. A reminder for all the media here, make sure I get it right here. Credential application to cover the Cricket Celebration Bowl will close on Friday, December 10th. So please submit your applications via the online portal at the Celebration Bowl. Also, tickets are still available there on you go to celebrationbowl.com.
There are about 1,000 left.
So that's it. They need to go get them. People calling me up for tickets. I ain't got them. They need to go ahead and find them on here because it's going to be a great game to be here. Once again, December 18th, 12 noon Eastern, going nationwide on ABC. It is the Cricket Celebration Bowl, South Carolina State against Jackson State. Should be a wonderful time back here in Atlanta as once again a champion will rise. Thank you, everybody.